It's the Unity Reunion Parade, Cookout, Line Dance Party, Backyard, Barbecue, Fish Fry, Vegan Soul, Black Business, Food Truck, Networking, Outdoor, Concert, Music Festival, Celebration of the Year, featuring Tidra Moses, Talib Kweli and Jay Walls, Marsha Ambrosius, Common and Pete Rock. Get tickets now at OhioBlackExpo.com. That's OhioBlackExpo.com.
African Diaspora News Channel will be broadcasting live. Join Phil Scott, Vicky Dillard, and Demetra Kay in C-Bus. Get your tickets today.
Are you a successful entrepreneur or one in training? You've got the vision, but do you have the right partner to build your brand, your team, and your future online and off? At CPRfirm.com, we offer expert consulting, financial guidance, and life coaching because we believe in doing life with our clients. After all, what is it for a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Founded by Callan Cash Coleman, we help our clients not only succeed, but plan to retire rich. Your business deserves the best. Start building your legacy today at CPRfirm.com.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Make sure you pick up my two books that's in Amazon right now. The first one is Passive-Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy. And I talk about in that particular book how the system of white supremacy really runs and on our daily lives here in America. In our latest book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we go through those steps to try to deprogram you from the system of white supremacy. Make sure you can pick up those books on Amazon.com.
I'm usually known as Cinderella around your work.
Biggest misconception about you?
Nothing. It's all true. It's all true. It's all true. If you hear something, believe it. Like sometimes I'm just in it because like I want things. I want money. I want to have fun.
Yeah.
But then there's times where this guy's fine. Yeah. Like I want to have fun. Yeah. One thing about this whole industry is that you shouldn't care. I date mostly like married men, because I don't have that type of time for you.
Oh, yeah.
And you are married, you don't have that type of time for me.
His wife, one that I make 11 o'clock from there. She's like, my husband can't control himself, and you as a woman, you can't. I said, Mama, you can't even speak English. Like, I can't even understand. Like,
watch Slay Queen only on the African Diaspora News Channel app.
From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. A key location in the history of the transatlantic slave trade and the story of our foundational Black American ancestors. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. We'll visit historic sites like Elmina Castle and Cape Coast, where you'll see with your own eyes what our ancestors endured. You'll also experience modern Ghana, the culture, the people, the food, and the history they carry, giving you a broader understanding of how our story intersects with theirs If you've ever wanted to deepen your understanding of our history, this is your opportunity. There are 25 spots available, and once those spots are gone, that's it. So don't wait. Secure your spot today by paying a deposit and be part of this unforgettable journey. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
What if I told you there's a news platform made just for us? Unfiltered, unapologetic, telling our stories from Africa and the diaspora. The African Diaspora News Channel app keeps you informed and empowered from wherever you are at any time. Don't just watch, join the movement. Download the app now and stay connected to the news that matters.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us here on the evening stream. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you coming in, click the subscribe button. Click the like button. It's free. Don't cost you a dime to do that. A little later on tonight, after we kind of talk about what we're going to talk about, I got to share something with y'all on the app. So, we normally stream always on YouTube and the app. So, for those of you who, are on the app watching it now, or you may switch to it, around that time so you can hear what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, I got to share something with y'all, boy. Oh, boy, it's funny. It's funny. But tonight we're going to talk about, continue on the theme we were talking about from yesterday about the Afrikaners. And let me tell you some of these Americans something, and it wasn't FBAs. I've seen some of these white Americans call those people Afrikaners. They're not Afrikaners. They're Afrikaans is the language, and they're called Afrikaners, okay? Please don't be an ignorant American saying things like that. We can find out what people are called, what their languages are called. I mean, because, it's a running joke throughout the world sometimes that Americans are very ignorant. And when I hear people on TV saying Afrikaners, I'm like, oh, God, really? You're on TV and saying this crap? You can go find out exactly how to say that in 2 seconds? My God. I guess I get aggravated with people doing things like that. I really get aggravated with that. But we're going to continue on that theme because some things that we need to kind of talk about, expand upon. The president of South Africa has called them out, and rightfully so. And we're going to also talk about the dangers of anti-Black propaganda. And this is a worldwide thing. It isn't just targeted to South Africa. It just isn't targeted to FBAs. It's everywhere where Black folks are throughout the world. They always have some sort of negative propaganda, whether you're in the Caribbean, the African continent, whether you're in Latin America, the United States, Canada, wherever Black folks are at, they're always pushing a anti-Black propaganda. They never push nothing good about us. And that's why it's important to have media outlets such as this one that's going to combat that propaganda that's out here against us. And, I totally forgot to do something that I needed to put up, y'all. So I'm going to have to render something in real time. So forgive me. Hopefully I don't shut nothing down, but trying to render this. Well, maybe I can put it up on the screen. I don't have to render it. I can just put it up on the screen a little later, and y'all be able to see. Hopefully y'all can see what I'm going to look at. I want to put up some statistics for y'all to look at a little later. So just bear with me on that. But the trip, Ghana trip, ADNC Ghana trip coming up November. We have about 17 spots left. Make sure you signed up. It'd be great to get all y'all, 17 of y'all left to sign up this weekend. It'd be beautiful. It's $199 down to secure your spot. Then you can just make payments. And we can meet y'all in Ghana. Like I said, it'd be my first time in Ghana, actually, West Africa. I'm interested in seeing. The main thing, the reason I'm going, is to connect with people as well and talk to y'all, but definitely connecting with that history of Ghana and, definitely the slave castle and stuff like that. I'm very interested in that. I've heard about the spiritual experience that happens, with the ancestors that were, in that experience. And I always said that our ancestors are some of the strongest people in the planet Earth. They survived the transatlantic slave trade. They survived the plantations, Jim Crow, redlinings. They survived, Tuskegee experiment. They survived bombings. They survived the Klan. They survived everything these people have thrown at us. And if you are here today listening to this stream, you survived. And that survivor's blood and the overcomer's blood is in your veins. And you are a child of the Lord, and you should be proud of who you are. That's why these people can't stand us. No matter where we at in the world, they can't stand us because we have survived. Just like them brothers and sisters in South Africa, they went through apartheid. They survived all of that. That should have wiped them out, and they survived. So that's why, they can't stand them either. So everywhere we have survived and also eventually thrived, they hate us. They can't stand us with a passion. And they, like they say, they hate us because they're not us. That's just bottom line. They can't do what we can do. They barely get a little struggle, and they're ready to, unalive themselves and send themselves to the next world. Or if they fall apart, they go. How many stories have we seen them, go lose a job and go unalive their whole family, even the dog? You've seen them stories, right? We don't do that. We lose a job. I lost my job today. When you getting your last check? Friday. I say, okay, well, we'll figure something out. That's how we tick. As FBAs, that's how we tick. We don't get knocked down like that. We know how to thrive and struggle. That's always the beautiful thing. So let's go ahead on and get to it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get to it. All right. So I don't know if I need to start off what I played last night, just to do a basis. I think I do. Let me start with the video I played last night from Bianca from South Africa. And just to lay a basis, because maybe some people knew, they may hadn't seen that video from last night. But I got some other stuff I got to show y'all. So don't think that's the only thing I'm going to show y'all. I'm a build. Give me a second. I'm going to build. But let me start off building here first, okay? So let me remind y'all of what we're actually getting into the United States.
This is for the Americans. If you're not an American, feel free to watch, but please try and get it to the Americans. My name is Bianca van Wyk, born in South Africa, live in South Africa. Today you will be welcoming the so-called white Afrikaans refugees. They are there based on an offer made to them, which I must say was informed by disinformation about South Africa. Now, I've seen a lot of takes on who Americans think they are receiving. Okay, you are not getting successful, professional, white, middle class South Africans that are fleeing South Africa. The people you are getting are the people that believe that there is discrimination against them based on their race. Keep in mind, we live in the most unequal country in the world. We have, for instance, 70% of agricultural land and agricultural holdings are owned by white South Africans. 62 to 68% of top leadership positions in corporate are filled by white males. There is a huge salary disparity between white South Africans and the rest of the population. And there are a number of other indicators which shows you that this story of discrimination based on race is false. Another thing that I wanted to say is that you will get certain so-called refugees that have experienced crime. However, in South Africa, no one is exempt. These people that you are welcoming assume because they're white, they should not experience crime. The people most affected by crime in South Africa happen to be black people that live in poverty. So as you open your doors and welcome people, and you're going to get a lot of information and disinformation from these people, please do keep that in mind. Oh, I also would like to say all the best and good luck to the Americans.
All right. Just wanted to recap with that. That's where we're going to start, okay? So let me go to what the president of South Africa had to say, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. Let me go to this article right here. We building. Just give me a minute. Let me see here. Boom. There we go. This was out of the BBC, okay, UK publication. White South Africans going to U.S. are cowards, Ramaphosa says, the president. So he said President Cyril Ramaphosa has called a group of 59 white South. They say 49, 59, I don't know. I mean, they keep changing the number. White South Africans who have moved to U.S. to resettle, cowards, saying they'll be back soon. I know they're going to be back. But see, it couldn't be me because I would terminate their citizenship and make them stay here. That's what I would have done to them. It said a group of Afrikaners arrived in the U.S. on Monday after President Trump granted them refugee status, saying they face racial discrimination. It said, but Ramaphosa said those that wanted to leave were not happy with efforts to address the inequities of the apartheid past, terming their relocation a sad moment for them. As South Africans, we are resilient. We don't run away from our problems. We must stay here and solve our problems. When you run away, you are a coward. And that's a real cowardly act. Now, see, I like what the president said. Haven't we been saying that? All these people that's been running over here to the United States, haven't we been talking about fleeing and that's not courageous? You're not trying to build anything. Let me read that again, what the president had to say. I like that. He said, South Africans, we are resilient. I haven't seen a bunch of black South Africans trying to flee. I haven't seen it. They stay in their country. They say, we don't run away from our problems. The black ones don't. They say, we must stay here and solve our problems. In other words, we're going to stay in our homeland and fight. Okay? I respect that. I respect that position. All of us want to see South Africa do good. You fighting in your homeland. You're not fleeing nowhere. Say, when you run away, you are a coward. And that's exactly what it is. It's cowardice. And that's a real cowardly act. Now, let me continue. It said Trump and his close ally, South African apartheid era Elon Musk, have said there was a genocide of white farmers in South Africa, a claim that's been widely discredited. So the U.S. has also accused the South African government of seizing land from white farmers without paying compensation, which that's a lie. They have the bill, but they haven't done it. It said more than 30 years after the end of the decades of rule by South Africa's white minority, black farmers own only a small fraction of the country's best farmland, with the majority still in white hands. It's leading to anger over slow pace of change. In January, President Ramaphosa signed a controversial, I don't know what's so controversial about this law, allowing the government to seize privately owned land without compensation in certain instances when it deemed equitable and in the public interest. This law is no different than eminent domain here in America. The only time they're not going to be paid, because I read the law, is when they say, okay, we found out you got this land through an act of terrorism on a black family, so no, we're not going to pay you for this. Man, we're going to get that land back to that black family. That's when they're not talking about paying them, okay? Any other time they're going to get paid for it if it's like an eminent domain. So it's like an eminent domain law, but also correct the thievery that this apartheid regime had did to black South Africans, okay? They say, but the government says no land has been seized under the act yet. Of course, racially charged row between Musk and South Africa over Starlink. What's really, driving Trump's fear with South Africa? Okay, so yeah, because see, with the Starlink thing, the government said, nah, you want to put Starlink here? We need 30%. Whatever you make off of it, we need 30%. He's pissed. I'm talking about Elon Musk. He's pissed because he don't want to give up the 30%. Like, bro, they're going to let you have 70, shoot. Now, I said Trump, he offered to resettle them. You say descendants of mostly Dutch settlers, such as they are fleeing their terrible situation in South Africa, and so on and so on, okay? They said his coward remark angered some social media users who condemned it as an insult to aggrieved white South Africans. The group of Afrikaners to welcome the U.S. top official. Okay, what are you mad for? That's what I want to know. What are you mad for? What are you mad for? I don't know what you're mad for. They over here now, right? So it don't matter what he says, but you're mad because it's the truth. That's why you upset. You ever heard that statement? The truth hurts. You ever heard that statement? A hit dog will holler. Have you ever heard that statement, ladies and gentlemen? You've heard that. That's the only reason you got upset, because they are cowards. But we got another article we're gonna look at here shortly. Now let's look at something real quick. Let me flip this. Let me tell you why the main reason why them people over here. Let me get to this here. And this is the main reason why they here. All right. this came a recent article out of Vox, and I had scrolled down, and I wanted to get to this part right here. Do white Afrikaners have a legitimate claim to refugee status? Now, the writer said, I grew up under apartheid, literally under signs that said whites only. Apartheid was no different than Jim Crow South, okay? It was the same. It said white boys chase black folks for sport when I was growing up. No different than Jim Crow South. This feels like a real kick in the gut. There is no substance to claim that Afrikaners, as a group, have been persecuted. They have not. They live very good in South Africa. These are not refugees by any stretch of the imagination. They are people who simply do not want to live under majority black rule. Let's repeat that again. He said they are people, the people that came over here, do not want to live under a majority black rule. Just like even here in America, they don't want to be underneath a black supervisor, a black owner. Anybody black that's telling them what to do, that is an offense. Now, say some of them will talk about crime. He said, I come from a family of small business owners who have suffered because of crime. I've lost friends to crime. I've lost relatives to crime. Independent stats show that whites as a group are not disproportionately targeted. If anything, it's poor people who bear the brunt of South Africa's crime problem, and it is a serious problem. Okay? Now, that's the part I wanted to read. Now, let me get this other thing on the screen. Because we're going to talk about those crimes, because, see, they're trying to link this crime stuff and say, oh, see, they fleeing crime because they being targeted. Okay, all right. Now, I want you to listen to what this lady says here off of ABC News. Y'all listen to this. Because like I say, we build over here. We want to give a lot of good education here because we have to break down the anti-black propaganda. Because one thing, the anti-black supremacists, the white supremacists, what they like to do is they use a lot of propaganda. And if we don't combat that propaganda, that's why it sticks and the lies carry and the lies, make things happen. Because these people the people who's doing this have no moral compass. They lie. And you know what the scriptures teach, who speak with the tongue of a liar. Anybody who speaks with the tongue of a liar, you're lying and you know you're lying. Well, who you speak with the voice of? I don't have the answer. Y'all can answer that in the chat, okay? So let's go ahead and cue this up.
No data to back up the claim that there is a white genocide underway in South Africa. Last year, in the first 9 months, there were 19,000 murders, of which only 50 took place on farms. And most of the data shows that less than 10% of the murders on farms were of white landowners. The vast majority of those murders were of poor black farm workers. So, there is this narrative. It's not the first time it has been promoted. South African right-wing organizations are very well networked with similar organizations in the US, in Australia, in parts of Europe. And have promoted this idea that white Afrikaners are subject to persecution. As you can see from the images scrolling right now, these are people who are mostly middle class or lower middle class, who have not had their lives directly threatened. It's in many senses, what is happening here is an existing privileged group within South Africa is claiming a need for asylum status in the US. It's become the laughingstock of South Africa. Online memes are going mad about it. South Africa is actually the most unequal society in the world, in which the vast majority of the poor who suffer the most violence are black. And so what is being done here is so at odds with reality on the ground. What some observers in South Africa have said is that this has got to do actually with other things. It's got to do with geopolitics. It's got to do with South Africa's role in the BRICS and in the International Court of Justice case on Gaza. And it has to do with the performance of the US, which has closed its borders to many people who are facing violent persecution in their home countries, wars, and so on, and instead privileging a small group of relatively well-off white people from South Africa who are arguing that any move towards transformation constitutes discrimination. So it's most unfortunate. It's making South Africa look bad. But also, I have to say, many South Africans say if they don't want to be part of a racially integrated society, let them go.
All right, Professor Ruth Hall, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
All right, so you heard what the good professor said, but what she said in the beginning, I want to play that again.
No data to back up the claim that there is a white genocide underway in South Africa. Last year, in the first 9 months, there were 19,000 murders, of which only 50 took place on farms. And most of the data shows that less than 10% of the murders on farms were of white landowners. The vast majority of those murders were of poor black farm workers.
Okay, so she's saying that crime isn't exclusive to them. There's no white genocide. And it's not, we're not trying to convince them about this white genocide thing, because we know they're liars. We know they speak with, the tongue of the serpent. We get that. Okay. So we're not trying to convince them. That's not what we're doing here. But what we do here for the people who just maybe hear it, there's even white South Africans that's probably watching this right now. I'm talking about the white South Africans that understand things. They just want to hear the different points of view because they could be here. So let's go ahead on and what I wanted to do, but let me see if I can do it this way. Okay, I want to put up the stats that she's kind of talking about, the latest stats at least that I gathered. So give me a second here. All right, I want you to know where this is coming from. So as you can see, this is coming from them, right? Public safety. Let me just move this around on my screen here. Just give me a second. All right, so you see it's there. Let me kind of just move this around a little bit. About right there. So you see that. Stat essay. Okay. I got one more little thing to put on the screen here. Just bad with your brother. I wish I'd have got this done a different way, but hey, we got it. We got it. Let me just put this up here for you. I just totally forgot about this earlier. Let me go ahead and kind of move this right here. And then we will kind of get this moved on our screen. Okay, boom. All right. So this is coming directly from them, okay? This is not coming from me. It's not no numbers that I'm making up at all, okay? And let's look at this together. As this is their crime statistics, what they put out from 23 to 24. That's the last one I could find that I was looking at, right? Okay. If there is a genocide of white people, if there's a genocide, then it will show in their crime statistics, okay? All right, let's look at that. So when we looking at crime, you had 21,067 victims who were male, and then female 22,474. Okay, so actually more crimes have happened against the women, but it's almost about equal. All right, so crime victims here, 79.8%. or 34,754 victims are black of crime. Now, since we're talking about this white genocide, right? 8.4% of the crimes happened to white victims, 3,677. They give the raw number and the percentage. So if that crime number right there that they're talking about, if that constitutes as a white genocide, then what is this in the black side? What is that then? I just want to know, what is that? So basically 8% of the crime, 8.4% of the crime happens to them. And not only them, you got, East Indians there, 1,250 victims, 2.9%. Then you got the colored community, 3,859 victims, of crime as well. So with the colored community, you have maybe a little bit more crime, not much. So is there a colored genocide happening in South Africa too? Why isn't the colored people allowed to come here then? Because they're close in number to the white number, right? Why isn't Trump talking about it's a complete genocide of black people, colored people, Indian people? Why aren't the whole South Africa just coming over here then? Because, it's a genocide, right? I'm just trying to show you with with their numbers, what they put out. This is not what Phillip said. This is not what he made up. This is what they put out here. So when these anti-black racists who are spewing a conspiracy theory that's extremely dangerous, it's so dangerous now that YouTube is even putting up a disclaimer at the bottom about that white genocide, white nationalist conspiracy theory that is dangerous. And you see what happens when those conspiracy theories that are extremely dangerous to black people, for sure, look how far it has gotten. And then the people who started the conspiracy theory, they backtracking off of it. Like, oh, no, well, we wasn't saying we wanted them to leave. Because I was watching their media the other day, y'all, and it was like, oh, it's a sad day to see them leave. Well, you started it. You started it. Why are you sad now that they're leaving? You know what I'm saying? Too many of them leave. Your numbers not multiplying like talking about. So you only hurting your numbers in South Africa, right? But if that's a genocide, then the colored people should be coming too, and for sure the black people. They should be coming. But they don't want the black here. They don't want the colored here. They only want the white here. Now, so I just wanted to make sure I put that up here. Let me go ahead and get my screen clear. Just give me a second. Boom, boom. Okay. All right. The Miss Lady there. I'm going to get her off the screen there. All right. So what are we saying here? We always have to fight against, in the media space, we have to fight against propaganda. Propaganda is dangerous. These people, you can't let them just talk like they talk. You can't let them run around unchecked. Now, I'm not saying you argue with them in comment sections. If you want to do that, that's on you. But people who have some sort of platform or out there on the airwaves, you got to hit back. Hit back with facts first. That's the way you attack. You hit back with facts, put the facts out there, then go in and cook them, right? Because they are liars. And I told y'all a long time ago, when it comes to the anti-black racists, if they're speaking to you, they're lying. Don't believe nothing they're saying to you. Like Flavor Flav, don't believe the hype, okay? Don't believe the hype, because everything they say is a lie. If you met the devil himself, would you believe anything he says, especially when they say he's the father of lies? No, you wouldn't believe nothing he says. So when it comes to the anti-black racist, you don't believe nothing they tell you, okay? Nothing. I don't care if they using a truth, right? When they use the truth, they're going to wrap the rest of it in a lie. They're not concerned about you. They're not even concerned about their own community. Because if they really was concerned about Afrikaners, they would actually go to South Africa and help them in South Africa. They would give them money. They're not helping those people. They're using those people for their political agenda. And then what y'all don't know, and like Ramaphosa said, they gonna come back. Because when they get here in America and they see that America is like the Wizard of Oz. You know how the Wizard of Oz, oh, he was all big, bad, and just, oh my God, it was something to see. But then when you finally met him, it was all smoke and mirrors. That's how this country is. It's smoke and mirrors. Oh, look at the cities. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, look at downtown L.A. Yeah, on TV, L.A. looks great, don't it? Look at downtown. Go down to downtown L.A. Go walk around there. Go look at Skid Row. They don't show that on TV, do they? They never promote that. New York, oh, they don't promote the homeless and all the people walking around with mental health conditions. They don't promote that. They don't promote third world conditions we have here in America. They do not promote that. They don't tell you that you can't just work one job unless you got a good, because that's call it what it is. Sister Vicky earlier had covered that they're going to be getting all this free stuff, right? They'll be getting money. They're going to put them in a place to stay. They're going to get them everything they need, but it's not going to make them thrive. I'm telling you from going to South Africa myself, they had more chances to do better in South Africa than they ever would have here in the United States of America. And see, you know, like they say, when you're sitting up here and you got all this ungodliness in your heart,
and you make moves off of that, it always fail for you. Be careful making plans that's not in line with God and righteousness. Because every time you make a plan and make your feet go toward those plans that you have for yourself is going to fall to the ground every time. It's not going to work out for you. I'm telling you what I know about life. If you make a plan that's a righteous plan. Don't make a plan that's unrighteous. And you say, I'm going to leave South Africa because I don't want to live under black rule. I don't want, but black folks had to deal with you forever. Forever. Black folks only been in control for 30 years. And that's not enough time to unravel the apartheid system as it should be unraveled. And then when they try to unravel it, they have all this interference coming from the outside. No different that when Robert Mugabe was alive and he was the president of Zimbabwe, you know, they got their land, they got their country back. Okay. And then they were working with the British Crown and say, okay, hey, we need our land back. And at first they was making a deal with them. Well, you know, hey, we're going to give you some money for compensation for the white people so y'all get y'all land back. Say, okay, cool. And at first they'll give them a little money for it or whatever. But then Tony Blair got in office and he say, no, we ain't doing nothing. We ain't giving you nothing no more. And then it put Mugabe in a position. And the people like, hey, man, we need our land back, bruh. Look, you making these deals with the British Crown, that we need our land back. So they pressed him so much he had to do something. So them white farmers, he got them off that land and said, hey, black people, here's your land back. What ended up happening to Zimbabwe? Even still to this day, Robert Mugabe is with the ancestors and with the Lord now, right? And they still have sanctions on Zimbabwe for Robert Mugabe taking the land back that belonged to Zimbabwe people. They put sanctions on them, and that Barack Hussein Obama, which is the worst failure ever, he's a failure because he did two things wrong, in my opinion. One, Muammar Gaddafi. The second, never lifting the sanctions off of Zimbabwe. Why? Why didn't you lift the sanctions off of Zimbabwe? They're not attacking anybody. They never did anything to America. They never been terrorists or nothing like that to anybody. It's just like Haiti. When Haiti fought back and got their land back from the French, they tried to punish Haitians forever. Because how dare they freed themselves from the white supremacists who are the French. Just like you got Ibrahim Traoré right now in Burkina Faso. They want to get at him, but he was a little more strategic of bringing in China and Russia to kind of keep them off his back. Because they know now, well, we go attack him, we may be fighting China and Russia at the same time. So we better kind of hold back on some of this. That's the only reason that brother's still alive, beyond with y'all. It's because the deals he been making. He was smart, at least on that aspect. But they don't want to see nobody black, whether it's here in America, whether it's in the Caribbean, Africa, wherever. They do not want to see black folks liberating themselves and getting them out of our mix. They don't want to see that. When I tell you they move the same globally, I'm not lying about that. It is the culture that they move in. Now, is every person in their community like that? No, I would never say that because that would not be true. Unfortunately, the good Europeans, the good Afrikaners, or the good Boers, or the good white Americans, unfortunately, they're not the majority. That's the unfortunate part for the rest of the world. They're not the majority. They're actually ostracized in their greater community. For how dare they say the right thing? They call them all kind of names. You know, in America, they'll call them N-word lovers here, right? Which would mean they're a lover because they say, hey, wait a minute. I'm a follower of the Lord. And God said to love everybody. God said to treat others the way I want to be treated. What you mean? I'm following what Christ taught me, right? So because I want to follow what Christ said to treat another person the way I want to be treated, that's an evil thing? No, you are evil. You are in league with Satan if you are saying that I cannot treat another person the way I want to be treated. Just because I'm a part of your community, I have to go in line against my Christian beliefs, my godly values. I would tell the good white people, do not let your community take you to the pits of hell with them. Stand on righteousness' sake. You are commanded by God to stand for righteousness. You do not want to be judged and receive judgment for what they do. Save yourself and do what's right before God. And if you do the righteous thing, you will be spared. But if you decide to go along with those in your community with unrighteousness, then you will get the reward that comes with them. Because I have people that watch all over the world. I have people in Germany watching, right? And that's not a country known for the diaspora. I'm not saying there's not no black folks in Germany, because we everywhere, right? But we got some Germans that watch. I see it on the thing, and hey, shout out to the Germans, right? Shout out to you. But if you are good people and you say, hey, I enjoy y'all program and I like y'all call out this racism and man, I'm with that. Well, shoot, man, we with you. You know, I'll tell anybody, it don't matter what community you come from. If you stand with righteousness and you stand with FBAs, you stand with the brothers and sisters in the Caribbean and the Africans and the Latin American black brothers and sisters, and you just want to see what's right, we cool with you. We cool. You support us getting reparations, and you want to use your position in your community to challenge and to fight for reparations too. Hey, that's cool. I support that. I don't see no black person not supporting that. But don't let your community pressure you to do things that you know in your heart is wrong. Don't let your community pressure you to go along with things that you know in your heart is wrong. Because your community is not going to be judged by you. You're going to be judged by yourself. Your whole community is on their own. Do what is right. Like John Brown, right? John Brown here in America, he did what was right. Of course, in the end, they put him up on the tree for it. But you know what? It's better die as a righteous man than to live like a coward and live unrighteous and on the pathway to hell. It's better. You understand what I'm saying? It's better. Yeah, see, like Black Firestorm say it's better for the good white folk to stay on the side of goodness and be hated by the majority of their community. He say, but they will be loved by God. That's right. I'm speaking a message to y'all. I know a lot of y'all listening, even those who don't feel like that. I'm talking about those of you who got that intent. Listen, let me tell you something. Those anti-black racists, leave the good people in your community alone. Leave them alone. Isn't it enough for you that's doing unrighteousness? Leave the people alone that want to do what's right. If they truly want to be a Christian, like the Episcopal Church, they said they're not going along with that because they see the unrighteousness in that. And they took a stand for righteousness' sake and said, no, I'm not reselling those people because y'all doing it underneath unrighteous means. That's how you stand up and do what's right. Well, you mentioned John Brown went to extremes. Well, John Brown had to do what John Brown had to do. Is it really? Our conditions were extreme. So sometimes you got to take it. You know, he had in his time what people deem as extreme. I mean, was it extreme what was happening to us? So he was just meeting that energy. That's it. He was meeting that energy at that time period. Nothing John Brown did was extreme, because what was happening to us was 100 times more extreme than what John Brown was doing. But yeah, man, that's just it, what it is. You know, we want to just put that message out there. Listen, when we speaking about the folks and white supremacy and all that, we're not talking about the good white people. We're not talking about none of y'all. I know sometimes y'all may feel like y'all catching strays. We're not talking about y'all. That's why we try to say anti-black racists. We try to say white supremacists. We try to say a whole lot of things to try to differentiate, right? Because I've had white people all over the world has talked to me and even watched the show, and they've been decent people. So I'm not talking about you. You know what I'm saying? You may be part of that community, but it doesn't have nothing to do with you. So if you're standing up for what's right, then I'm with you. I'm with you. Don't let them people drag you down. Do what is right. And your reward will be great on earth, and your reward will be great in heaven. That's that simple. You know, you're a white person in South Africa and you see all that BS, call it out. And say, hey, this is not a representation of who we are as Afrikaners or Boers. We don't like them people. Them people, we don't want them in this country either. He said, I hate they went to America, but dog, we rather not have them here because we trying to fix our country. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to them for wanting to fix their country. You can't fix your country if people want apartheid. You can't fix your country with them people. You can't. So the best thing for them is to go. I just hate they went or came over here. But from what I'm hearing, they're going to put them in states that's not really where we at. So I'm cool with that. But this is what I say before I wrap this up. I'm going to give y'all where y'all should put those Afrikaners that want to be in the one on apartheid kind of deal. Put them, I'm going to give you a couple of states, okay? So y'all Afrikaners that could be listening, maybe at an application, write this down. Ask them to put you in West Virginia, definitely West Virginia. Matter of fact, that's one of the best places for you, West Virginia. Idaho. They need to put you in Wyoming. I heard some of y'all going to Des Moines, Iowa. That's a good place for you. Des Moines, Iowa is a great place for you. Maine is another good state for you to go to. Vermont is another place for you. I would say Martha's Vineyard, but you can't afford it. You just can't afford it. You're not gonna get a job enough to afford it. Rhode Island is another good place for you. Rhode Island. Now Lincoln, Rhode Island, I've been there. It's a little bit more diversity there, but still Rhode Island is a little bit probably more your speed. A lot of places in Massachusetts, Boston, it has a lot of anti-black racism in Boston, even though the mayor is Asian. You may be okay in Boston, right? But outside of Boston, some of them other cities outside in Massachusetts, I think you'd be real good there. But I want to, even if you come here, I want to help you because I don't want you to have too many interactions with FBAs because it's just not gonna be a decent interaction if you try to pull that apartheid stuff. It's just not. So I'm trying to help you transition to the United States where you can be where you're happy and everything is all good. See, I'm all about giving solutions, even if you're trying to come under the means of things that's not good. I want you to go places where I think you could be happy. Because you come here to Houston, not going to like it here. You go to Atlanta, you're really not going to like Atlanta. So I'm just trying to, New Orleans, don't even dare. So I'm just trying to give you places where you can go where you'll be happy. Okay? That's it. I want to make sure y'all happy. You said a dozen went to Idaho and Iowa. Good. That's good places for them. I really hope but see, they not going to like it. I know they not. First of all, the winters is going to get them. They not used to winter like that. How cold it get up in those states, it does not get that cold in South Africa. Yeah, they got their winters, but it do not get down like it get up there. That's going to be the brutal thing for them, than winters. They're not used to that. So, but they'll see. They see. You say Dallas and Atlanta, yeah, they're not going to make it. Any city that got a bunch of FBAs, yeah, just avoid them cities. That's the only thing I say. Yeah, just stay in them states. Montana. I forgot Montana. Montana. That's another good place for you. Go to Montana. Great place for you. Washington State. It would be another good place for you. There's a lot of, Washington State would be another good place for you, but it's going to be hella expensive though. So, but it is what it is, right? See, y'all, I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to help them my best way I can. I'm not mean. I'm not a mean person at all. But anyway, y'all, let me go ahead and, you say L.A. Who said L.A.? That ain't going to work with them in L.A. Oh, no. Who said L.A.? Maybe way up north in California. I mean, way up north, outside of the Bay, outside of LA and all that stuff. Orange County, I think it's going to be too expensive for them. Even though they got white people, it's still going to be too expensive. Yeah, tell them to go to Laguna Beach and see how they're going to last there. California, eat them up. They're not used to that kind of lifestyle. But make sure you subscribe. Don't forget the trip, ADNC Ghana trip. November. Make sure you sign up. We got 17 spots left. So let me go ahead on and highlight the people